Hello everyone, this is Yvette. Thanks for joining me for this watercolor painting tutorial. Today's video I will share with you all how I paint a simple pink rose using watercolor, and I'm going to be using today my crystal pen and all these little tiny areas of the vein of these leaves. From these two paintings we will create a new version, easy to paint and follow. Let's do it. Because I want to share with you from scratch how to draw the rose. And if you're my patron, thank you so much for being here for me, and don't worry, the outline is already in Patron home for you just to print and transfer it to your good watercolor paper. Okay, so I have this page that I print in my printer, and what I'm going to be doing is just to trace I want to share with you how I trace this rose. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is with this color I want to look for the geometrical shapes, and I want to start by adding this oval, or like an egg or an oval. And then I want to find my main and big petal. And then I'm going to start building some of the lines. And of course later we're going to be using our eraser just to erase the extra lines. I'm going to add this one that is here. And I'm going to add this one. Come from here. And then this big one, and if you notice I am drawing first the biggest petals and then going to the small ones. So now this, let me just erase these extra lines. Hi Janie, good to see you here, thank you for coming. And I'm going to add this line. Janie, you don't need to draw it because the outline is in Patron Facebook and in Patron home as well. Then the last one, not the last one, the last petal that is going to be from here, something like this. Then this in between these two, and this one start being smaller and smaller than the middle one, and the last one that is going to be this one, something like this. Okay, so now I wanna look for my stem. So it's going to be, this part it has this I don't know exactly the name in English, but it's thicker. And then I want to make a little curve because you don't want to have a straight stem. Okay, and from here I'm going to start first to add in these 3 leaves who are connected to the bottom of the flower. And the first leaf I want to add it here in the middle. Then the second one, and it has this folding So remember to sketch your drawing in a paper that is not your good paper, and then transfer it in a transfer paper, and then move it to your good watercolor paper. Okay, now I'm going to be sketching this leaf. Here I just want to erase these lines. Something like this. Okay, so now the leaves. First I want to find the biggest one. So the stem. And now this is a happy fatty leaf. This is one, and now the second one is going to come like this. And this is as well, it's like a folding. Okay, and the last one is this leaf. This is like a heart. So then we need to erase the extra lines that we're not going to be using. And when your sketch is ready and you feel like, okay, I have the lines that I want, you start defining better your lines. You can use like a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, or your pencil. This is a mechanical pencil HB. Okay, so when your drawing is ready, you can do two things. You can transfer it with a transfer paper, or you can place your original drawing into a window and then your watercolor paper in the top, and you can trace it. This is one way. Another way as well is with a very like dark pencil. In this case is a 4B. Put your page in the window again, and then revisit all the flower, all the line with your pencil. You can go with all the lines, or you can just really add pencil to all the area where the rose is. Try this part to be very close, the pencil. You don't want to have like a holes. You want to have complete drawing feel of graphite. When everything is done, then you are going to come to your good watercolor paper. You're going to place your picture, your drawing, and then you're going to revisit every single line again, and everything is going to be transferring into your good watercolor paper. Okay, so I already did, and this is my picture. This is my good watercolor paper. It's Arch. It's at 300 grams, and it's cold press. And I totally recommend you to try a good watercolor paper, because when you are like painting, it makes a huge difference. Let's talk about my brushes. For the brushes, I have my number 12 that is round. Then I have a small one that is number 2 that is round. Then I have, just in case if we needed, my script of liner. It's very thin. It's 3/0. And then of course we have our crystal pen. Okay, for the colors that we're going to be using, let me just pull my little container. I have our Hawker's green, then I have a permanent sap green. I have this is like a dark brown, we are going to be using it just a little bit, but this is a good dark brown. Then I have the burnt umber. I have this, I have been enjoying the maple yellow. And for the pink, I'm going to be using permanent rose. In case we need like extra dark red, I'm going to be adding a little more of my regular red to the pink. Okay, so let's start. You can leave the painting just like with a white background like this, or you can use white mask, and after is with your pencil, then apply white mask all around the outline, and you can work the background. For the background, you can do like a wet and wet technique, and you can add some green and pinks and maple yellow or light yellow, just to show like there is more flowers in the background. That's another idea. But today we're going to be just going with the white background. Okay, so let's start by softening more my lines. So I have my navel eraser. Roll the eraser to smooth the pencil lines. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to place first my color, that is the yellowish, that is a maple yellow. And the pink, that is my permanent rose. Okay, I'm going to start using my round number 12, and the idea, guys, is that we're going to be painting each petal each time. So I'm going to start with the big petal, and then I'm going to be moving to a second petal that is not close by, because we don't want the water to mix. Okay, so I have my 2 glasses of water, so I'm going to just first be sure that my brush doesn't have any other color of the work that I had been doing in the past. Okay, so far so good. With the tip of my brush, I'm going to load my brush with clean water, and I'm going to wet the first petal, that is the biggest one, and I'm going to go around without touching these leaves. Okay, and that's why you're going to be listening that I say it again and again, that if you use a good watercolor paper, you're going to have enough time to wet the piece to paint it. But in case you're not using 300 grams cold pressed watercolor, just be sure that your area is really wet. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow with water, and I want to add in the bottom some of this color. I'm going to clean my brush, then I'm going to grab a little bit of the pink, and I'm going to touch the edge of my petal like this. I'm going to clean my brush. Just clean the brush, and I'm going to move, like I drag the pink to the bottom first like this. Then I'm going to clean the brush, take out the excess of the water, and then I'm going to do the opposite lines from the bottom to the top, and I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to be adding more like hard darker pink, but as a second layer of glaze. So now I cannot paint, let me show you, I cannot paint this one because it touch, also this one, and this one, but I can paint the bottom, these two buttons. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush again, clean water, and I'm going to wet with the tip of my brush. I'm going to wet the last petal, this one. I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow, and in the bottom I'm going to clean my brush. You can move to like a smaller brush. I like this one because it has a very nice tip. I'm going to grab a little bit of the pink, and I'm going to go in the edge like this. To add more water to my pink. Now I'm going to clean it, take out the excess of the water. I'm going to recuperate the tip, and I'm going to drag the pink first, the bottom, clean, and then the opposite way. Okay? Clean my brush again, add some water, and I'm going to wet the next petal. Grab a little bit of the yellow and the bottom. Clean it and grab a little bit of the pink, and in the top clean it, recuperate the tip, and drag the paint to the bottom, clean it, and vice versa. Okay, so here we cannot paint no more because we don't want to mess up with the colors. So I'm going to be using my hair dryer to make this faster, this process faster. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to clean my brush, to grab clean paper, clean water, and I'm going to add some clean water to this petal. So be careful, do not touch the one that's already painted. Grab some yellow, and in the bottom to clean, add some clean water and some pink, light pink. I'm adding a little more water to my pink to make it like a lighter, and I'm going to go in the tip, and I'm going to allow the color just to mix. So now I'm going to clean my brush, recuperate the tip, and I want to drag some of the pink to the bottom like this, clean it, and go the bottom to the top, and leave it alone. So wet your brush, and I'm going to paint this one. Some yellow, clean my brush, I always like to recuperate the tip of my brush. Some pink. Clean the brush. And drag the paint to the bottom where the yellow is. Then clean the brush. Take out the excess of the water and vice versa. And leave it alone. So let's see if we can paint this one. With the tip, clean water. A little bit of the yellow first. And now a little bit of the pink. And it's a very small area, so I'm going to just go to the bottom to the top. Just dragging the yellow to the top. That's it. So let me just dry it to keep painting. Clean water, and I'm going to be painting this part. Yellow first, the bottom. Clean my brush and some of the pink. That's why it's important that it's super dry, because when I'm painting these petals, I am going a little outside of the lines and touching the bottom part. Okay, clean my brush and go to the top bottom, like drag the pink to the yellow and clean your brush, and vice versa, the yellow to the pink. Okay, clean your brush and let's paint this one. The bottom some yellow again. It's the same process, if you see. Same process, each of the petals. Clean. Leave it alone. So we're going to be painting this one. So this petal we need to do two parts. The first part is the top one. Oh, sorry for the noise. The top one, we're going to add water in this part. And add some of the yellow first. In this part. Now some pink in the edge. Clean your brush and move the pink like this. Clean the brush, take out the excess of the water, and then drag the yellow like this. Okay, so I need to use my hair dryer again to finish this part and this part. Okay, clean your brush, make sure that you don't have color, and add water to this little guy First a little bit of the yellow with the tip of my brush, and then some pink, and leave it alone. I'm just moving a little bit the color. I'm going to grab a little bit more of the pink. This is so tiny area that you can even just leave it alone. So this part we need to add clean water. It's okay it has pink because this part needs to be like a darker pink. And this is a petal too, so I'm going to grab more pink, but this time a little darker. That's mean less water, just with a tip. And I want to add in this curve like this. Look at this. Now I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to take out the excess of the water, and I'm going to move the pink, dragging the pink into the middle, like, and I want to leave it alone. Okay, so clean my brush, clean water with the tip of my bristles, and I'm going to add water to this one. Grab some yellow first. Clean the brush, some pink. Clean the brush and drag the pink into the yellow like this. Clean the brush, take out the excess of the water, and drag the yellow into the pink like this. Okay, so again I'm going to use our hair dryer, and then I'm going to start painting the edges of the petals darker. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go back with a clean brush. I'm going to load it with water, and I'm going to wet again the first one, but this time I'm going to just use the pink color, and the pink color need to be like thicker color, like a stronger color. That's mean less water. So this is what I'm going to do. With the tip of my brush, I'm going to add some of the color like this. I'm going to clean my brush, take out the excess of the water, and then with the tip I'm going to move again the pink, like dragging the color, doing these marks. Here I want to add more of the dark pink. And this will be the treatment that we will do for each of the petals. So let's paint this one. So you just be careful, do not touch this part that is wet, okay? So I'm going just to go around, grab some of my super dark pink, and I'm going to go and paint. I was even going a little outside, it's okay. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush, take out the excess of the water, I'm going to recuperate the tip of my bristles, and I'm gonna just drag some of the paint to the bottom like this. And I'm going to go vice versa, just pushing the color like this. Okay, so let's keep moving. I'm going to paint this one, so just be careful, do not come close to the one that is already wet. Just go around. Like thick pink. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to take out the excess of the water and drag my pink first to the bottom. Clean my brush again, and then the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing the same to the rest of the flowers, the petals. Okay, same method, wetting the area. And you can wait that the petals are dry to keep moving if you feel more comfortable. And I'm going to drag the pink here. I just want to correct this part and leave it alone. I'm going to keep moving, and I'm going to paint this one. Dark pink. I'm going to be just careful because this part is wet, remember? And also this one, so same technique. Here it's a sample that it get messed up, so I'm going to just dry it and swap the color. Okay, so let's dry it to paint these petals and this one. Okay, so let's keep moving. I'm going to wet this, grab my darker pink, barely touching with the tip of my brush the edge, the outline. Clean the brush, and I'm going to go from the bottom to the top just to push in the color like this. Okay, and allowing the watercolor to do its own things. So here as this is dry, I'm not worried to touch the edge. Okay, clean the brush, and I'm going to move the water to the top. So here we can add more color by doing the same technique. Wet first, then add the color. Clean my brush and move in the color. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this one. Let me see. Let's do this one first. I want the bottom part to be lighter, so that's why I need to push the color to the edge of the petal. Okay, so let's paint again this part. With a dark pink. Okay, clean my brush and move the color from the bottom to the top. Drag the water. And I'm going to use my hair dryer because we need to finish these two little ones. Let me just add some clean water first. A little bit of the pink. And I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave the second one, the one who's behind that color, because I like to see the contrast. But I want to correct this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is wet it. And the way I'm going to be correcting is, first I want to wet everything. And now I want to push the color because I want to see more in this part with the yellow. So I'm just swapping the color and cleaning the pink. Okay, and again I'm going to grab a little bit of the darker pink and just add in the edge. And I'm going to leave that alone so we can start painting the stems. For that I'm going to be using my Hawker's green, the permanent green, a little bit of the burnt umber, and a little bit of our darker brown. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to wet my brush and I'm going to wet the first petal, and I'm going to go down the stem. Now I'm going to go and grab a little bit of my permanent green, and I'm going to move the color all the bottom. And now that this is still wet, I'm going to grab a little bit of my Hawker's green and I'm going to add a little dot in the tip and a little dot in the edges like this, and I'm going to go down on my left side Okay, I'm going to clean my brush because I just want to just move a little bit this color here, and I'm going to grab a little bit of the umber and into my right side I'm going to add some dots here and there. Okay, and I'm going to leave it alone. And this one I'm not going to be using the crystal pen, just in this one, these two. Okay, so this one I'm going to be doing the same. This has two colors, so we're going to be painting first the light green, that is our permanent green or sap green, like this, and just a little bit of the Hawker's green in the bottom and in the tip. Okay, I'm going to clean the excess of the paint. Just I'm going to move the color like this a little bit. Okay, just a little bit of the burnt umber, just a little bit in the tip and in the bottom. Okay, so let's keep moving to the next one. Sap green, a little bit of the Hawker's green, a little bit of the burnt umber in the bottom and in the tip, and I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, clean my brush, and now it's time to use our, hi Barbara, good to see you here. This is the second part. We have technical issues, so I'm glad that you're here. So if you have a crystal pen, be careful and check that the point is clean. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be cleaning the point. Thank you. I'm glad that you're liking it. Okay, so for the leaf I'm going to be doing the same, guys. First I'm going to be wetting the whole leaf, and I'm going to grab some of my sap green and paint the whole leaf with the sap green. And even I'm going to go down to the little bit to the stem. Okay, then I'm going to grab the Hawker's green and I'm going to add it in the stem, in the tip, and I want to go in the middle like this. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my burnt umber and I'm going to add in the bottom and in the tip. So now this is what we're going to be doing with our crystal pen. First, from this part of the leaf we're going to add a line to the tip, and then we're going to start adding some of the veins. Like this. Okay, so then I'm going to change to my number 2. I'm going to be sure that it's clean. I'm going to grab my sap green again, and I want to go and touch the tip of each of the veins and the edge like this. And I'm just going a little bit outside of the lines. Just a little bit to create the effect of, you know how the roses has these like a peaks. I'm going to grab a little bit of my Hawker's green again, and touch the tip again. All this is possible because my paper is still wet, and that's the important part, okay? I have still my Hawker's green in my brush, and I'm just moving a little bit of color like this into the veins, and I'm going to leave it alone, okay? So now I'm going to be painting. This is dry already. I'm going to be painting this one. Let's go back to my big brush. Let's wet it first. Sap green. I'm going to add a little more of sap green and move the color all around. Okay, now grab a little bit of the Hawker's green, and I'm going to add the Hawker's green in the tip and all the bottom like this, and a line. Okay, then I'm going to clean a little bit my brush, grab a little bit of the burnt umber, and again the bottom and in the tip. So now let me just clean my brush and move a little bit this color. With the tip of my brush, I'm just like a tapping the paper, and also here. Okay, so now let's go back to our crystal pen and make the lines. You don't need to push too much into the paper. You will feel how it feels. But it's important that the paper is wet to have the effect of the veins. I'm going to change for the number 2, clean my brush, grab first a little bit of the sap green, and I'm going to touch the tip of each of the lines and going a little bit outside of the line of the leaf. Now a little bit of the Hawker's green with the tip again. And I'm going to go in the middle and move the paint like this. And I'm going to leave it alone, okay? So this one, I'm going to still using the same color. So I'm going to wet. It has a little green. My brush has a little the green, that is fine. So I'm just adding this green in this part, and a little bit of the Hawker's green, a little bit in the bottom and in the tip. Clean my brush, a little bit of the burnt umber in the tip. Yeah, it's like the veins of the leaf and the tips. Correct, Janie. And I'm going to leave it alone. My brush has this burnt umber, right? So I'm going to add some water and a little bit of my Hawker's green. I'm mixing these two colors. And I'm going to go back to the second leaf that we paint, and I'm going to be adding, it's already dry, so I'm controlling more my paint like this, okay? going to load it again. Okay, and just correcting some of these lines. Clean my brush, and I'm going to move this color. Okay, so we need to wait a little bit this to get dry. So here we can see how it's dry already. So I'm going to be adding more water to the mix of the burnt umber with my Hawker's green. Oh, thank you, Angie. And a lot of water because we want to have a very like loose transparent green. Okay, so I want you to go just paint over the lines again. That's it. And here I just wanna grab a little bit of my Hawker's green and paint with the same mix with water the top, because I want to have more color here. Okay, so this is dry. So the mix of Hawker's green with the burnt umber. It is, yes. You know, and it's different than the ones that I paint before. So this is dry paper with wet. Remember, watercolor, we can have two techniques. Wet with wet and dry paper with wet paint. Here I'm connecting this part. I'm gonna grab more of my Hawker's green, more thick. And I want to add this color in the bottom part of this leaf and in the stem. And here, you know, has these spines. Just making some lines here and there to give some texture. And shadows, it's important to have good shadows. Clean my brush, just move a little bit this color. And that's it. So here, let me just clean my brush very well and grab a little bit of my permanent green because it was too light. Just a little bit of color here. I want to be careful, do not touch this part because it's wet. Okay, so yes, I think that's it, guys. So the difference between these three paintings is the amount of color that I use. Like here has more, the edge has more intense pink, and this is more soft and gentle. And also, of course, the design of the leaves are different. Personally, I like a lot these three, how it looks. And here I use a crystal pen, and here I use my liner. This is the liner, okay? So there are two different ways to paint the veins. You can use a brush or you can use your crystal pen, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, guys. Thank you so much for my Patron for joining me today and for support me.